All right. So there's a little primer. What's comedy? Something that makes you laugh. Is that it? End of the discussion?
Yep.
It's easy enough.
Well, didn't you, I don't know, but didn't you say before about like Shakespeare comedy always like marriage?
Yes. So the question is not so much what is comedy, but the question is what is Shakespearean comedy? Shakespearean comedy. Well, will Shakespearean comedy make you laugh? If you're reading Midsummer Night's Dream, you're reading Taming of the Shrew, and you understand what's being said, probably yeah. You'll laugh. Measure for Measure, Merchant of Venice. Man, Merchant of Venice is one of the bleakest plays that I've ever read in Shakespeare. It's a lot less pleasant than Romeo and Juliet is. It's somewhat tragic in certain cases. So if Shakespearean comedy is not accomplishing Smrti's goal of making you laugh, then what makes it comic? Lexi, say again.
They get, like, get married again.
A play which results in marriage. The twin faces of drama, tragedy and comedy. Tragedy, very philosophically, explores our approach to the end of life. And some Shakespearean tragedies go heavily philosophical, talking about the meaning of everything. Hamlet and King Lear, very existential. Existential meaning they question what exactly is the meaning of and purpose of existence, because both of them are approaching death. Both of them are dealing with death. And as they approach death, they look back at life and actions within life and start to say, what's the purpose? What's the meaning? Where's the value? So tragedy focuses on that. Comedy focuses on the opposite, life. What does it mean to actually live? And when they end in marriage, they don't end in birth, but they end in the Elizabethan requirement for a birth, which is a marriage. Often Shakespearean comedies will result in multiple marriages. So you probably have multiple plot lines with Shakespearean comedies with multiple couples, all sort of torn apart from each other and then unified at the end. So you might have as many as 4 different marriages in the end of a Shakespearean comedy. So the tragedies end in death. The comedies end in life. See some hands, I thought. Taylor.
I just want to know, is like a comedy not necessarily supposed to make you laugh, but it just ends in a happy, like.
So let's talk about some of the more specific aspects to answer your question, Taylor. What is it about Shakespearean comedy? Did anybody pick up what that little video showed about Shakespearean comedy?
Disguise.
Disguise, yes. Okay, so here are some common aspects of Shakespearean comedy. Often, people change identities and disguise themselves. Sometimes this is a minor plot device, sometimes this is the plot device. Let's see. In Midsummer Night's Dream, it'll be relatively minor. In Measure for Measure, it'll be huge. Merchant of Venice, it'll play a pivotal role in the plot. As You Like It, it is the part of the play. Because in As You Like It, you have a woman who must hide herself by masquerading as a man, who then pretends to be a woman. So you have 3 layers of identity within As You Like It. Yes, starts as a woman. And of course, in Elizabethan culture, that was a man playing a female character who is then masquerading as a man, who then starts play acting as a woman. Those of you who have As You Like It, out of the 6, it's one of my favorites. I like As You Like It, and I like Measure for Measure.
Excuse the interruption, but at this time, the counselors need to see the following students: Max Bueller, Michaela Day Ryan, Stan Cortez, Rachel Apple, Andrew DiMartini, Anwar Abasi, Hassan Baez, Mona Sadat, Todd Wright, Taylor Smith, Carly Flanagan, Taylor Oakdy, and Brianna Petrowski. I called your name. Please report to the guidance office.
Some other common aspects of Shakespearean comedies. Often you have multiple plot lines. And you would do well to make sure that you're keeping track of the multiple plot lines because they often intersect. Each plot line will focus on the unification or disunification of a couple. They'll be torn apart, they will hate each other, but then at the end they'll end up loving each other. You've seen a lot of these through the romantic comedies with which you might be familiar. You'll have these multiple plot lines that will also come together at the same culminating moment of the play. Generally, you'll have an authority figure who is out of control, either through stupid negligence or through villainous evil. Sadism in the case of Merchant of Venice. Not sure how to describe the villain in Measure for Measure, but he is similarly nasty. Quite a city that is out of control, and quite often your protagonist will fly from that city. They will leave. In As You Like It, a number of your characters run off to live in the woods. Midsummer Night's Dream does the same thing. At the end, your resolution will not only be marriage, but a restoration of order. Control authority will either come to his senses or be deposed, be restored to its order. People back from the countryside and live in the city. The plot lines will intersect and resolve in marriage, and everybody will reveal who they actually are. This describes, in certain measure, every single one of your 6 plays. So Shakespeare will follow these rules, and understanding these rules can help you understand what exactly is going on in the play. So look for these aspects. Some of them are relatively abstract and thematic. Some of them are very